Tonight, the crew targets a swordfish corridor, where cold water boundaries concentrate giants beneath a rising storm. Bait is the invitation, and consistent rigging keeps the circle hook working exactly as designed.
The storm turns open water into moving concrete, where every task demands strength and precision.
They time the set to shifting current, aiming for swordfish that patrol just below surface chaos. Each connection expands the grid, turning one cable into a drifting field of opportunity. Circle hooks can hold cleanly in the jaw corner, but only with perfect bait placement.
The set begins with markers, a trail across hostile water that must stay true in wind.
Once deployment starts, stopping is dangerous, so the crew commits to the full spread. Each connection expands the grid, turning one cable into a drifting field of opportunity. Below the storm, the line moves quietly, broadcasting scent through water the crew cannot see. Tension must stay balanced, because slack tangles hooks and too much strain snaps leaders.
In low light, scent and vibration guide predators, and patience is built into every meter.
The first sign is fleeting, a bill cutting the surface, proof a giant swordfish is close. One glimpse changes the pace, because now every hook feels like it could matter.
Currents and shadows hint at presence, but the ocean rarely reveals its hunters willingly.
Cold hands slow work, so teamwork keeps rigging consistent under punishing weather. A swordfish patrols the line with calm authority, measuring risk before choosing a strike. It tests the offering from the edge, where one turn could become the attack. Small load changes travel up the line, translating unseen motion into instinct and decisions. The predator vanishes as quickly as it arrived, leaving only disturbed water as evidence. A sudden breach announces power, and the sea answers with foam that swallows it again. They stage landing gear early, because when a swordfish comes boatside, seconds become everything. Now it closes the gap, using the bill to probe before committing its jaw. The winch becomes their steering wheel, controlling pressure so the hook can do its job. One feint can be rehearsal, and the rig must look effortless to invite commitment.
At close range, hesitation ends, and a single bite will decide whether they connect. They avoid forcing the moment, because unnatural tension can make a wary fish turn away. When speed replaces caution, geometry and timing become the difference between escape and capture.
With weather worsening, they commit to the set, betting the swordfish will still feed.
The fifth reveal is unmistakable, a full breach that signals aggression and sets the stage.
A surge up the line tells them the encounter is no longer distant. It has begun.
The strike happens fast, and the line's response is the first proof of contact.
The haul begins, and every meter of line could carry the moment they awaited. The hook seats cleanly in the jaw corner, and tension locks the connection in place.
The swordfish runs near the surface, turning raw power into speed that challenges control.
On deck, they translate the run into controlled pressure, feeding line only to prevent breaks.
A deep dive adds friction and risk, because abrasion can part the leader instantly.
They reorganize for landing,
Knowing a swordfish can turn retrieval into a safety crisis. Head shakes are designed to throw hooks, so steady tension is the only counter.
Boatside speed is dangerous, and the crew must keep the bill angled away from people.
Speed and winch power must match, because mismatched forces can tear hardware apart. The circle hook holds through rotation, but every twist threatens to chafe the leader thin.
Timing turns chaos into controlled pull on a deck that refuses to stay still.
As fatigue sets in, the fish fights smart, using circles to keep pressure unpredictable.
Landing strategy is about safety, because the bill can injure even in a single swing.
The first full jump is a violent attempt to shed tension, but the hook stays seated.
They cushion shock load, because impact forces snap leaders, even when knots are perfect.
After a breach, the fight goes deeper, forcing the crew to win back meters slowly.
Small adjustments prevent big failures, especially when the ocean keeps striking without pause.
The second jump is higher and wilder, a sign the giant is desperate and strong.
They prepare for the turning point, when the fish comes close enough to control by hand.
The hold remains clean, and that single detail keeps the entire plan alive.
Boatside runs are dangerous because proximity turns speed into impact and sudden chaos.
Angle control matters now, guiding the fish away from steel edges and toward a safe path.
The third jump happens close, and its splash hits the ship like a warning shot.
They wait for a clean moment, because rushed grabs are how injuries happen.
Fatigue shows underwater first, as explosive power fades into steadier, slower movement.
They transition from fighting to landing because control is finally within reach.
A boatside jump forces distance because one wrong step can turn momentum into injury.
They coordinate hand tools with winch power, balancing safety and progress on a moving platform.
The camera confirms the hold again, evidence that keeps everyone committed to the landing.
Landing requires patience, because a swordfish can explode into motion even when it seems beaten.
Every tool must arrive in order, because the deck gives no forgiveness in heavy weather.
Even lower jumps are dangerous because proximity turns splashes into impacts across the rail.
They test control without committing, careful not to tear flesh or lose the fish at the edge. The final jump is a last protest, and surviving it means the crew is ready to lift.
With a tail line secured, the fight shifts decisively, giving the crew mechanical advantage.
Heavy fish require lifting systems, because human strength alone cannot manage this mass safely. The lift begins, and everyone stays clear, because a swinging load can injure instantly.
Even suspended, it can thrash, turning weight into a swinging hazard above wet steel.
Contact with the deck changes everything because leverage now belongs to the ship and crew.
They control the head first, because the bill and momentum define the danger on deck.
Safe hook removal prevents injuries, but the fish can still erupt into chaos without warning.
On a wet deck, momentum becomes the enemy, and a sliding body can knock men down.
They steer the load like machinery,
pulling from the tail to keep danger moving away.
The first deck surge proves the fight is not finished, and workable space disappears fast.
Containment becomes priority because an uncontrolled bill turns the deck into a hazard zone. Direction and drainage help regain control, using the deck's design to reduce slips. One tail strike can launch equipment, and injuries happen when reaction time runs out.
Clearing clutter restores control, because trip hazards multiply danger on a pitching deck.
Scale becomes obvious on deck, where a single giant can overwhelm a large vessel's workflow.
Sudden rolls turn mass into a battering ram, and safety depends on distance and timing.
Neutralizing the front end reduces risk, because once direction is controlled, the rest follows.
Securing hardware reduces surprises, and every tightened strap is another step towards stability.
The fourth surge is pure force, and the crew survives by moving as one without losing control.
Timing the lull turns brief calm into progress, the only way to work in heavy weather.
Clean handling protects quality, so restraint matters even when the deck feels like battle.
The fifth slide nearly takes a man down, proving the deck can be as dangerous as sea.
Opposing forces lock the fish in place, turning motion into controlled pressure.
Even in harsh weather, routine creates safety, allowing the crew to shift from defense to work.
The sixth impact is shorter, a sign the giant is losing energy and options.
Final restraints end unpredictability, allowing processing to begin with fewer risks.
Cleanup happens before cutting, because hygiene and traction protect both product quality and lives.
The final thrash ends, and silence on deck signals the fight is finally under control.
Clean cuts and rapid rinsing protect texture, because swordfish quality depends on careful handling.
Cold chain begins on board, because temperature control decides freshness long before land is in sight.
Rapid chilling stabilizes the loins, turning a dangerous capture into premium steaks for market.
Separation and sealing prevent contamination, preserving quality despite constant spray and rain.
Inside the hold, stable cold protects structure and slows breakdown that ruins texture.
Resetting the deck prepares them for the next pull, because longline work never truly pauses.
With the catch secured, the ship turns toward port, carrying value beneath steel and ice. Final onboard packing minimizes exposure, keeping the chilled loins stable through the remaining voyage.
Documentation follows the product, because weight and condition determine the economics of the trip.
Secure seals keep temperature stable, turning a rolling ship into a reliable, moving freezer. As weather eases, the mission shifts from survival to delivery, but standards remain strict. At port, ocean chaos becomes logistics, where speed and cold storage protect every kilogram. The handoff is fast, because minutes outside controlled cold can undo days of effort. Sealed transport extends the chain, carrying chilled swordfish from steel deck to distant kitchens.
Distribution centers standardize handling, keeping loins cold and consistent for precise portioning.
Consistent thickness guarantees even cooking, and cleanliness preserves both flavor and texture.
Vacuum packing reduces oxidation and moisture loss, helping swordfish stay firm in transit. The last leg runs on wheels, But cold discipline remains the same from sea to street.
In the kitchen, quality is judged by touch and color, and Swordfish should feel firm.
Simple seasoning respects the meat, balancing richness with acidity instead of masking flavor.
High heat builds crust quickly, keeping the center moist while highlighting Swordfish's steak-like texture. The final plate balances fat and acidity, letting clean ocean character remain the focus.
From storm to table, the journey ends in a bite that carries the ocean's effort.
Tomorrow the sea resets, and so does the crew, because the next run is always coming.